January 2022, Farm to Death was published. The worst game a person can play, but also the first one I made. The thrill of making something then seeing it working, well, that's just an indescribable feeling. You just have to experience it to know it, to get addicted to it. Let me take you through my journey through the past 3 years and all the progress I made so far. So, it kinda started in a weird way, in an unconventional way in fact. I started with the game making tool most people haven't heard of before, Game Guru Classic, mostly the scripting side of things. It used Lua as its scripting language, so I was looking for tutorials, asking around in the comments if it's something I should learn and what I should learn. Then a random dude replied to the comments and suggested Monogame. I had no clue what his Frenchness said. Anyway, it took me a couple of years to get a PC capable of running Visual Studio, but I got her, and he indeed taught me the ropes and how to get started. In fact, I think I still have the first project I ever made. I even made a devlog on it. This game will never come out. Thus, it's been 3 years since that weird day. Let me talk you through all the things I made until that day, mostly. It started with the aforementioned Farm to Death. A simple farm game where you're supposed to farm endlessly for some reason, while some monsters eat your fence, and you try to make it last as long as possible. Here, the limits of my knowledge were indeed very limited, but I was really happy with it at the time. At least it's something that plays somehow, even though I didn't know how to make buttons that can be clicked with the mouse, nor check on taps of the keyboard. Oh well, it was a start. Also, it was made in 3 days. I have a devlog explaining the process. Check it out in the link at the top right if you want. Next comes Orbit Defender. It's a much more arcadey game, more fit to be an actual first game. You shoot birds in space that appear randomly for some 20 shots, and the attempt ends and you try again. This time I added actual savings and upgrades to the game, so you can actually play some more and gain more items as you play, even though it isn't very fun to play if I say so myself. Supply Master is the first game where things somehow started to click. Even though it has many flaws, even now that I am playing it for this video, I found myself unable to end my playing session. There's something about it that's just fun. Even though the art is totally not my best, I still did a lot of new things for this game. For start, I made UI that can interact with the mouse. That was something. I even added a fake loading screen with tips. My French friend really didn't like that. I really do. I still do it in my games to this day. After this, it took me a while to get into the groove of making games. You can say I hit an art block. I don't get these. I do get those a lot throughout the years. So in the first half of 2022, I tried to end it with a simple stupid game that created Tic-Tac-Die. I had bought a large bundle of game assets and wanted to use it somehow, but I wasn't that good to use it in an actual project, so I made it. Other than the art, the idea itself came from computer OS lectures in college, which were kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. Alas, it didn't really work, and I didn't make something new for months. Then things happened to be my factory game sequel, or at least it started that way, until it got a little change in plan mid-development. Thus, Handsome Squid Bakery was born. It was almost a joke project, yet it was indeed my best project at the time. And I would say it's quite fun still. I also couldn't end the game. I kept on playing while I record this video. You basically open a cake factory in the name of honoring your late grandpa's last wish. After this, most of my games became a bit ambitious, at least for a guy that doesn't even have a proper button object yet. So my next project was a large-scale dungeon crawl magic top-down shooter, of course, based in Kur, the same word I'm trying to create for my books, which is pretty cool. The Labyrinth of Kur was rushed indeed. I did take a lot of shortcuts instead of actually working hard on it and giving it all, but it was the first game I made with a player, enemies, bosses, magic, drops, projectiles, and so much better UI. Better everything in fact, even a fully voiced ending for each character, voiced by me of course. It even has a glossary. It really is a passion project. I hope I can remake it one day with all the knowledge I have now. It would be much more interesting and satisfying to play. Not that currently the game isn't very balanced, At least that's what my friends who played it said. So check it out at your own risk. It really was something else. Particles, stupid AI, really fun concepts and ideas. I'll for sure revisit it one day, most likely. Now if you watch Gamedev YouTube, you'd notice there is something missing from this video so far. Game Jam. That's cause I barely do any. They just never have interesting themes, and being a monogame enthusiast, I didn't really have a real fully functioning engine to make my games in a day or two, and actually have them in a playable state. Since I didn't really have a structure at all back then. Regardless, I made a game to the Mini Jam 126. The theme was Lost, so Lost in Limbo was born. Using some of the aforementioned assets I bought, and with the simplest concept ever, basically, side-scrolling subway surfers, it's a fun game. After that, it took me a while to make more games. You can say I had another art block, one that took me more than a whole year to come around. Of course, I had started some new projects, but nothing came of them. Nada. Thus, it was a year of trial and error, probably. Maybe I'll make a video about my abandoned project. If that's interesting to anyone, tell me in the comments. So after a long time of basically wasting time, focusing on school, actually getting a job, part-time one at least, oh well, I started another large project. You see, I'm a Souls enjoyer myself, so Armored Core 6 came out and it was very special. Even though I haven't played this game yet, I couldn't but admire how cool and fun the combat looked, so I wanted to replicate it as a top-down shooter. Right now I can see how much I could improve it, but I ain't touching that unholy code now. No sir. Anyway, this game was kinda really fun to work on. So many new systems, I made all the assets myself, which is actually the theme for most of my games. And I especially am proud of the alien enemies. They are creepy and fun in a good way. And everything is so much smoother. There's actually a fun gameplay loop and variety of wave types and so many enemies, more than 10 in fact. Also, inspired by From Software and patches, I implemented the NPC I want in my future games into this one. Thus, Enid made her first appearance. She's a very significant being to my heart, and it's a very good feeling to have her in my games. Also, the game has a badass boss. Also, in a later update I added full controller support, which so far is the only game that has this feature. It needs some more work, but it's more than working, and well, which is really good. You should totally try it if it looks interesting. I'm quite proud of it. Which leads us to another period of no work done. So many unfinished projects, until I found the perfectly simple game jam. A 1-bit game jam. It was exactly what I needed. Something fresh. So, in late 2024, I made the Tower of Eden. A tower defense game made for the 1-bit jam 4. The jam was 2 weeks long, but I finished the game in a week and just left it. I'm quite proud of it, and definitely very proud of the art. And last but not least, the crown jewel of my game collection so far, Sunset Sprout. My biggest, best made game so far, and my dream farm game. I miss the old farming games from the old days of Facebook, such as Farmville 2 and Happy Farm, and those were very good days. So I wanted to create them one way or another, even if on a smaller scale using an asset pack I bought. And with a lot of time and effort and help from friends throughout the journey, I finally just released the game less than a month ago. It's a huge game with over 25 different plants, land expansions, decorations, buildings, animals, crafting, collecting, and so much more. And even more to come. You can see the trailer for it in the top right. So that's basically my 3-ish year of game development. It wasn't very focused on games, and so far I can't say that it will be 100% focused on games. I don't even really have a new large project yet, though I am working on something new. A mobile game in fact, even though it's mostly me remaking the way I handle UI, but it's still a new game. My first one that's hopefully ending up on Google Play Store. What can I say I learned from all of this? Well, game dev is much more work than I thought, that's for sure. Also notice that I tend to get bored of projects that take a long time, which makes me rush them. I still think I would go this route, the no game engine route. I think I understand some interesting things now. Even though I'm missing so much more to actually make my own full engine, slowly building the perfect tool for my workflow, and that's really satisfying process. Finally, I would like to thank my French guy for giving me the nudge to actually do something. That's something I'm really grateful for. So thank you, Louis. And that's it for today from me. See you in the next one. Subscribe, like, all the shenanigans, and bye.